All right. Hey, BSP. As I said just a moment ago, I am going to start a Facebook Live. Again, I eat my own cooking, so to speak, meaning that the stuff that I am showing you guys to do, I do on a regular basis. You got to use social media in conjunction with growing your base, growing your client attraction. And so I'm going to do a Facebook Live, share for the first 10 minutes, and then we're going to dive in. Hopefully my tech will work this time. We shall see. It says starting. Trying to reconnect. Love it. As soon as it started, it says trying to reconnect. Doggone it, man. I got to figure out why it is doing that. I just don't know why it is doing that. Let me give it a second. Poor wireless connection. I got like great wireless in this office. I'm going to cancel. Ending video. I'll finish because I have literally nothing there. Your video must be at least 4 seconds long. No kidding. Okay, whatever. If I want to share something with them, I'll share with them a part of this recording. So let's dive in. You probably see behind me, I have all kinds of fancy graphics. Don't worry, you don't have to see that. I'm not going to use details of it. But I want to talk to you guys for a little bit about the absolute best online marketing funnel that's working right now, and that the biggest marketers in the world, online marketers in the world, are using on a regular basis. And I'm talking about a book funnel. And there's a lot of different ways to use it. I'm going to talk to you about a unique way that we're going to start using it and test some things. I'll share the results of that testing with you. But what, and just in the past month or two, I'm in Russell Brunson's inner circle. Some of you guys know who he is. He wrote .com Secrets and Expert Secrets. He's the founder of ClickFunnels, which is about a $70 million a year business, pretty substantial. I helped him launch these books. I'm also helping him with PR here. He uses this book in conjunction with a funnel to attract new clients into ClickFunnels. Some of you know who Frank Kern is. Frank Kern is a very, very well-known internet marketing expert. He uses all of his front-end offers are for books. Now, his books are very different than the kind of books we do. This is one of his examples. And what he actually, and I would never recommend doing this as a free plus shipping or doing this as your book. But he doesn't publish any of his stuff, not self-published, not published with a publisher like us or a traditional publisher. What he does is he basically does trainings, in some cases not more complicated than a 2 or 3 hour webinar. He transcribes it, edits it, and then puts that out as a book and offers it in a free plus shipping funnel. Now, you may not know what that is, but I am in Russell's mastermind. I'm also in what Frank calls his inner circle, which is a $400 a month program to get his newsletter. And in both of their recent newsletters, they talked about their best converting funnels. And their absolute best converting funnels are their book funnels. In fact, Frank's only online funnel is his book funnel. Everything starts with his book, not even a best-selling book because he doesn't publish it, but one of his books like this. With Russell, his book funnels start with Expert Secrets or .com Secrets, and then lead through a myriad of various upsells and downsells to his information products and ultimately to ClickFunnels. Frank does a couple of small information products, but primarily what he's leading people to is his continuity program. His continuity program is this. It's the $397 a month program, and he has something like 1,400 or 1,500 people in it. So it's about a $5 to $6 million a year business, all starting with his book. Now, these guys have been doing this kind of thing for a long time. It's complicated. It is not simple to make it work. However, I say all of that to say there are simple ways to use your book in conjunction with a book funnel so that you can start monetizing and really making an incredible return on investment right out of the gate. I've been doing this for a long time, and it still is complicated to me from the standpoint of getting all of the bells and whistles and knobs turned when you're selling an information product, meaning book to some type of, course or something that you're selling for $100 or $1,000. However, what works really well and what I highly recommend is using your books, and as your books are getting done, or if your book is already done, using your book in conjunction with some type of online marketing that drives people back to a telephone call with you, a consultative sales call. That is not hard to do. It's incredibly easy to do. And when you use your book on the front end, it does several really powerful things. Number one, it positions you as the authority. They know that you are literally the expert that wrote the book on it. Number two, it already shows the interest of a buyer. Now, if you do a free plus shipping book funnel, then what we're really talking about is they're getting this book for free. That is true, but they're having to pay some type of shipping and handling charge, which typically speaking is going to be, $6-7. And that is usually almost enough to pay for the cost of the printing of the book and the shipping of the book. Now, it won't be enough to pay for the actual advertising cost, but that's okay, because if you do this correctly, then the advertising cost is going to be paid because you are selling some type of high ticket offer. This is what we do at BSP. Now, this is a new funnel that we're starting. It's a little complicated, or it looks complicated. It's not as complicated as you might think, but we're actually using this one in conjunction with a chat bot on Facebook. Now, sometimes I'm concerned about, throwing out too many new things, but let's go through what my basic funnels look like right now, and then I'll talk a little bit about what this funnel is going to look like. What someone can very easily do, and what we do, is we have on the front end some type of content. That is what your book is. Your book is powerful content that the right person, because if we created a great hook, we've created a great title and subtitle, then it's going to speak to the right person. The right person is going to be interested in that, and they're going to raise their hand and say, hey, I want that, whether they get it as like a digital download where you're offering it as like a lead magnet, or they raise their hand and say, I actually want the physical version of it shipped to me for $7.95, of which time you do that. Now, the next step from that funnel, and the simplest way to do that, is to invite that person to some type of consultative sales call, some type of coaching call. As you guys probably know, in the other office right there are Bob and David. They're our author development coaches, and they are on the telephone pretty much all day, 9 to 5, and in some cases 7 a.m. to 5, Monday to Friday, because we drive so much traffic from our online marketing into these consultative sales calls. What we offer is typically our full price program, which ranges from $13,000 to $30,000 and somewhere in between. And we, we'll close a percentage of every single telephone call that comes in. It's the law of big numbers. Now, it may not be, in some respects, a high percentage. It may only be like 8 out of 100 calls. But when you're selling something for $13,000 to $30,000, that's fine. That will still amount to hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales every single month. And we end up having more of a capacity problem as a company, because we offer, done for you services, than a problem generating leads. There are plenty of ways, not just on Facebook, but on YouTube and Instagram and Google AdWords and others, to generate leads. So what am I saying? I'm saying that this is an easy way if you're in some type of consultative profession. If you're a coach or consultant, or you want to sell something that requires, that's a higher ticket, that's 2, 3, 4, 5,000 on up, then you're going to have to do that over the telephone. And the best way to do that is to initially make sure that you're speaking to someone that has raised their hand and says, I am super interested in your content. In fact, I'm so interested, I'm willing to pay a little bit of money to have this shipped to me. And yes, of course, I also want a telephone call with you personally, which is how I started doing it, almost 6 years ago, or with a member of your team, which in my case are the author development coaches. So You don't have to complicate it any more than that. What Russell does, what Frank does is a little bit more complicated. They go from free plus shipping offer to first upsell, which might be $37 to $97, to second upsell, which might be $200 to $1,000. In some cases, it drives to an automated webinar, which sells a product that's even as much as $2,000 in Frank's case. And then every single one of those people, both in Russell's case and in Frank's case, gets made an offer for the ongoing continuity. With Russell, it's ClickFunnels. With Frank, it's his Inner Circle program, as I showed you. Now, neither one of those guys are doing as much high-ticket consulting. Russell still has his Inner Circle, which is $25,000 a year. I'm a part of that. But because he's grown such a tremendous base of people in ClickFunnels, all he has to do is skim off the top whenever somebody drops out. He only keeps 100 people in his Inner Circle, which that by itself is a $2.5 million a year offer. But anytime someone drops out, he can send one email. He can very easily do it because of the way it's built. For you and I, that's a little bit different, right? You may not have a list of 10, 20, 100, 500,000 people and a massive following. So you want to drive people to a telephone call from your initial content, your book, whether it's free plus shipping or a PDF, directly into the next step, which is, hey, I'd like to offer you a free coaching call. That is going to get you really qualified people that are interested in what it is that you do and that already see you as the authority and the expert. So if you're doing these calls yourself and selling something high ticket, then you can, do 10, 15, 20 calls a month and close 2, 3, 4, 5 people at $5 grand, 10 grand, even 15, 20 grand. You can do that. Now, if you want to scale it up and get author development coaches and all, you won't get author development coaches, but you'll get some type of, consultative sales professional, then you're going to see something happen. Number one, the number of people that get started, the percentage goes down, right? If I did all the telephone calls, I would close more people just because I'm the face of the business. I'm the thought leader. I'm the expert. So it's a little bit harder for the guys, but that's okay because it enables me to scale. We can do more telephone calls and I don't have to be on the telephone all day long. I can do other things that help me to grow the business. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, what I was sharing you about this is kind of the newest thing that we're doing, and I'll get you some numbers on all of this stuff. But one of the cool things that we're doing is we're starting to use not just your regular landing pages with ClickFunnels, etc., but we're trying some chatbot stuff directly in the Facebook infrastructure, the Facebook universe. Because what we found, because I've done a good part of this, but I haven't done a lot where I've driven paid traffic to it. But what we found is that the open rates are massively higher than emails. The engagement is much, much higher. People actually look at the content because if they're already in Facebook looking at my stuff, whether it's a Facebook Live or a video that I post or something, then the engagement's going to be way up rather than having to go to the email inbox, and look, okay, has this gone to spam? Where is it, etc. So we're testing this right now, and it seems to be working really, really well. We're going to start driving, maybe $100 a day in traffic to it, and we'll scale it up from there. And what this is it's going to be a short video with some long form sales copy. And basically all someone is going to have to do is I'm going to offer a case study on one of my clients, Shanda Sumter. Whoops, I just knocked stuff over. Shanda's book's up on the shelf somewhere. And that is going to be a 20, 30-minute case study that I did with Shanda where she's doing $100,000 a month using her book that I created and helped her with and did all the launch and PR for, and how she's using it. And so that case study, all they have to do is type in the comments case study, and that begins to automatically interact with my chatbot. I use ManyChat, and it's all being set up by me and Steve. Steve's our director of technology and graphics here. Some of you know who Steve is and have dealt with him. And so once they type in case study in the comments section, it is then going to message them. All this happens automatically, and they're going to get a link to the case study where they can watch it. 30 minutes later, it is going to automatically ask them what they thought of the case study and if they would like to have a one-on-one strategy session call with an author development coach. Plus, the page that they go to watch the case study has a form for the strategy session right on it. So I'm driving people to the content that they want, but I'm also giving them the opportunity to take further steps with me. The cool thing about the chatbot, as you can see up here, is that if someone says, no, they don't want a one-on-one strategy session call, then it doesn't just end there. We offer other things. It begins to engage with them and ask them questions. Well, let me ask you, have you already written your book yet? Yes or no? Yes, I've written my book. Then it goes down one path. No, they haven't written their book. It goes down a different path. So basically, the chatbot, ManyChat, allows you to do all of this stuff, which is really, really cool. Anyway, I've been going on and on for a good bit of time. I'm going to open it up to any questions that you guys have. And let me delete this Facebook Live that I had exactly 3 seconds of. I hate that. And I'll open it up to questions that you guys have about, the general things that we discussed, and then we can kind of dive in. Tammy says, do you have an example of the book funnel and how to build it? I do, Tammy. So 2 things. One is, for any of my clients, I give you the funnels that we've built out and are using and are really successful. You have to be a user of ClickFunnels, though, because ClickFunnels has this sharing feature. And with the ClickFunnels sharing feature, I can just give you a code. You put the code in, and that code automatically has the funnel appear in your ClickFunnels account, and then you can adjust it any way that you want. So if you're already a ClickFunnels user, then you can go into the BSPU coaching area or page, membership page, and it will have all of our various funnels that we use on a regular basis, and you can click the code and automatically it'll go to you. If you're not a ClickFunnels user and you want like a free trial or something, then I'll put a link in the Facebook group right afterwards, and you can get a free trial or check it out at that point. Ryan says, yes, looking to set up my funnel next week. Awesome. Well, you got some good stuff that you can set up then, my friend. It can be complicated. My strong suggestion is that you keep it as simple as possible out of the gate so that you can start getting results. So basically, some type of lead magnet, something having to do with your book is ideal that then leads to a call. Very simple. Let's see here. Someone asked, I like your very simple book funnel followed by free coaching call. Can you provide some example numbers of the funnel? So examples of expected numbers. I think you mentioned 8% of the calls are converted in your own case. Can you share other examples for other experts? So yeah, good question. So in the case study I did with Shanda, and I don't know if you saw that, and I'm not sure who this is. It just says KIS. So in that, Shanda shares some numbers from her funnel. I can put the link to that so that you guys can take a look at it. And I'll just put the link in. You don't have to opt in for it or anything like that. I'll also put that in the Facebook group as soon as this call is over so you guys can take a look at it. Carl, there you go. Carl, thanks. So here and these are very vague numbers, Carl, but I'll give you some of our numbers. So if you can get an application filled out to work with you, we call that a strategy session application. If you can get an application for $100 or less, and you're selling something high ticket, and high ticket, I'm gonna call, minimum $3,000 to $5,000, then you're gonna have a working funnel. If you've been through our process, then you know what an application looks like. It's basically name, email address. We ask some pertinent questions having to do with our offer. So I'll ask, have you already written your book yet? If they type in yes, then I want to know the title. If they type in no, then no problem with that. I'll ask, tell me about your business and how it relates to the book. I'll ask what the budget is. I don't ask people to put a number in. I just ask for a range. Is your budget extremely tight? Is your budget modest? Is your budget that you want like a turnkey service? I don't ask for numbers. I kind of give ranges. I'll ask, what their biggest challenges are and what it is that they need. In my case, it might be I need ghostwriting, I want PR, I need help publishing and launching my book, all of the above, etc. So I get all of these minimum 6, usually 8 to 10 questions answered, and then that is an application. If my business, if we can get that for $100 or less, then we're going to be making a lot of money. Because again, our offer is very high ticket, $13,000, to $30,000. And you can do the math. If 8% buy, then let's say they're $100 per application. So for me to get 100 applications at $100, you're talking about $10,000 in ad spend. But I'm going to get 6 to 8% of those people to buy. And let's say on average they buy something for $15,000 to $20,000. That means that, I've generated from $10,000 in ad spend, I've generated $100,000 to $160,000 in revenue for the company. And those are pretty good numbers, because about 50% of the people that are applying probably don't have the budget to work with you. That's a lot, 50%, but that leaves you 50 out of 100 people that do. And then you're going to have people at various points of willingness to spend and invest. And at that point, it's going to be, your ability to engage with them and show them that your solution is the right solution, and the timing of everything. And so if I were to take these calls, I'd close much higher than 6% to 8%. I might close of all of it. I might close 2 to 3 times that number. But again, I'm not operating a 1 or 2 or 3 man operation. We have 16 people here. And so we've kind of scaled the business to the point where I'm not doing those telephone calls. And you may want to do that. You may not. So there's some examples of numbers. If you can keep your application number, and 100 is the top end. Many of our apps are as low as $30, $40, $50. But if you can keep them in that $60, $70 range, even up to $100, then you're going to be in really, really good shape, especially if you're doing these calls yourself. Ryan says, what's the best way to fulfill the orders for the free plus shipping offer so that I don't have to order the books, have them sitting around, then ship them out myself? So great question. So there's a couple of companies that can do that. Disc.com, that's DISK.com. Joe Foley is the CEO of Disc.com. He's a good friend. They're really, really good at it. The thing that I would probably say, it's going to be a little bit more expensive to have someone else fulfill it for you, Ryan. But if you are talking about numbers, good size numbers, then you're going to want to use the disc.com. Russell uses a company in Boise. I can't remember the name, but I can get that if you guys want it. But disc.com is fantastic. They work with most of the big name players. What a lot of people do if they're just looking to do strategy session applications and that kind of thing, in other words, go from book to phone call, then you don't need to do hundreds and hundreds a month, which is going to cost a significant amount of ad spend as well. If you want to do these calls yourself, then you have to figure out how many calls do I actually need to take to close. If you got 50 applications, let's say, you might be able to get 50 applications on a couple hundred opt-ins or even 100 book sales. So, 50 applications, 50 phone calls, maybe way more phone calls than you want to do, because you might be able to close 10 out of those 50 if you're doing it yourself and you're skilled at that kind of sales consultative call. So you have to decide what's the number that I'm really looking at. If the number is small, then stick with it in-house for now. If the number is bigger, then look for a disc.com or somebody to do it. Tammy says, thanks, Rob. You're welcome. So go to the Facebook group afterwards, and I'll have that posted in there for you, Tammy. Ryan says, I have a book, audio book, 8-week video training, and one-on-one group coaching. Any quick thoughts on how to keep that simple? Well, it's not simple, but congratulations on all the content that you have. I would probably recommend that, you really take a good look at, like someone like Russell's funnel, his book funnel. And I can post a link to that if you want. So you can go through it, buy the book, look at his upsells and downsells. In fact, you don't necessarily have to do that. I am actually going to be doing a training. I have all of Russell's numbers, everything, all the details on it. And I'm going to be doing a full training out of the content that he gave us on how his book funnel runs, kind of hacking it, as he would call it, for you guys. I'm planning on doing that. I leave for Hawaii for a mastermind tomorrow, so I won't be doing it until next week. But I'll lay all that out. You can use a similar model. Basically, Russell's model is book, free plus shipping, to audio version of the book, to some type of video training course with both an upsell and a downsell, to ClickFunnels, and as a continuity offer. In your case, you would do the exact same thing, except the last offer for you wouldn't be for ClickFunnels. It would be for, a one-on-one strategy session call with you. You could even make it a bonus for the people that purchase your book. Look, as a bonus, I'm going to do something that, I never do for free. And that is, I'm going to give you the most valuable thing that I have, which is some of my time. And I'm going to get on the telephone with you, and we're going to dive in and see if we can take you from here to here in your business or in whatever transformative thing that you do, Ryan. And you'll have people really psyched and pumped that are buyers, people that have already purchased, taken out their credit card, pre-approved, so to speak. And so you'll close a very high percentage of those people into your high ticket offer. So Ryan says, yes, please do. Good stuff. Thank you. You're welcome, my friend. So give me some time and I'll have that whole breakdown of Russell's funnel done for you in the next week or two. Tammy says, I'm back in the office. What would I click on for the book funnel? The page shrinks up and goes to the left of the page. So I'm not sure what you're asking exactly, Tammy. I'm going to send you, I'll give you the, are you already a ClickFunnels user is the question. So if you're already a ClickFunnels user, then you'll go into the bestseller publishing or BSPU membership area, and one of the side links will say something to the effect of funnels. And if you click on that, you'll see all the different funnels. Now, you already have to be a owner of ClickFunnels, a user of ClickFunnels. So if you're not, then just hang on, and I'll go ahead and give you the link to get a free trial or pay for it or whatever you want to do. Scott says, any tips on doing an audio version of my book, Rob? So good question, Scott. It's something we batted around for a long time about doing. Basically, there are only a couple of different ways. I mean, you're either going to pay somebody to, speak your book, or you're going to speak your book yourself. And then you're going to use I think it's Audible, but there's another program in conjunction with Audible where you download your content, your MP3 or whatever form it's done in, and kind of walk through the steps. It's not super complicated to do, but it's not. acx.com. Thank you, Ryan. So look in the chat box right now. Ryan says acx.com is where you can get some input on doing your audiobook. So thanks for mentioning that, Ryan. Tammy says, yes, I'm a ClickFunnels user and looking at the funnel page, not sure which one to pick. So pick all of them. Download all of them into your ClickFunnels. You can have them all. All you have to do is click the link, and it will automatically download into your ClickFunnels account. So it should say F+S, like free plus shipping or something like that, or book funnel for the specific book funnel. But all of those funnels are funnels that we use very successfully. Laura says, I just finished my book. I'm currently going back over it to make corrections or changes. I also need to do some research and confirm some facts. I haven't had good luck with my cover. What is my next step? So Laura, the big question would be, are we doing everything for you? I only have your first name, so I'm not 100% sure of that. If so, then your next step is to get in touch with Randy or Sydney and Steve. Steve will help you with your cover if you're a done-for-you client, and can give you direction. Randy or Sydney could tell you what the next steps are. Of course, you don't want to, again, if you're a done-for-you client, then you don't want to send us the manuscript until it's complete, until it's all done. Now, if we did the book, if we ghost wrote the book for you, then we're, of course, going to be editing it and everything. So I don't know at what stage you're at as far as if you're a done-for-you client or if you're part of the BSP University and doing all of this yourself. If you're doing all of it yourself, then you've got to, of course, get the editing and formatting and all of that done. We do give some recommendations for where you can get some cover design examples and things like that. Scott says, thank you. Tammy says, I'm looking at the shared funnels tab. That is the right place. Just take them all. Ryan says, I did mine on a Blue Yeti mic. He's talking to you, Scott, about the audio version. Blue Yeti mic into GarageBand and had someone on Upward do the mastering production. I think you mean Upworks, perhaps. And so, yeah, not hard to do. Let's see. One says private. I don't know if it's meant to be private. Upwork. Yeah, Ryan says Upwork. So first launch, okay, someone's asking me about relaunching their book. First launch was September 2016. It did make bestseller status in the first launch using the BSP tools. Congratulations. I would like to relaunch. What is a generic change to make to the press releases given that it is not a new book now? Book is currently at 191 in its top category. Easy rolling. In every one of the press releases, we give examples of testimonials and what people are saying about the book. So just swap those out. You can keep almost everything exactly the same except change the dates and then swap out new reviews, Amazon verified reviews. So just copy and paste the review, copy it out of Amazon, paste it into your press release, and now you have a brand new press release just like that. So great question, though, and congratulations for relaunching your book. You should totally do that. Book should be relaunched regularly because it will drive all new traffic to your business, all new traffic to the book. It takes it right back up to number one. We do that with my stuff on a yearly basis. Part of the reason is we do it for testing purposes. Part of it is because we're trying to drive new traffic to it. So well done and congratulations there. So, hey, good questions. Hopefully this stuff has been helpful regarding the books. I am, as I said, going to give you Russell's full breakdown on how he's using Expert Secrets. The cool thing is he gives exact numbers, upsell rates, all of that stuff. So it's really, really good. I'm going to give you all of that as well with his permission, and I'm going to break it down and share all that with you. So I don't see any other questions. If you have them, then please ask now. If not, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to to our Facebook group, private Facebook group. And in that private Facebook group, I'm going to put the ClickFunnels link for those of you that need it. I'm also going to put in Shanda's case study video for those of you that want to see how Shanda's doing $100K a month with her book. And I think that's it. So let's see. Looks like a couple other things popped up. Tammy says, hey, Rob, do you know the title of the funnel that's for the book funnel? Tammy, I don't offhand, but I will double check when we get off this, and I'll look and I'll post that in Facebook in the same post. Bill says, thank you, Rob. Looking forward to the funnel breakdown in a couple of weeks. Very cool. Tammy says, great. Thanks. Awesome. You guys are terrific. Thank you for being on with me again. Good to see your smiling faces, and planning on being with you again next Tuesday. And then the following week, we will not have a BSP call because I have two events that I'm speaking at. So following week, no BSP call, but next week we will. And I have some new stuff for you as well there. So thank you guys. You're awesome. And talk to you next week.